Hi, boys and girls. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to read to you a couple versions of Cinderella. And what I mean by that is there are lots of books. This one's actually called Cinderella. This one's called Sydney-rella. This one's Cinderella. And this one's called Cinders, a chicken Cinderella. And then I have a traditional one. And then another one called the Rough-Faced Girl. So they are all like Cinderella stories, maybe have the same moral or lesson, but some of them are from different cultures. The one I'm going to read to you today is Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Cinderella. Her mother died when Cinderella was a baby, and after a time, her father married again. But his new wife, now Cinderella's stepmother, was mean to Cinderella. She dressed her in rags and made her do all the housework. Cinderella's stepmother had two ugly daughters of her own. They must have been the ugliest sisters in the world, but their mother always dressed them in fine clothes. They were mean to Cinderella, too. They never played with her, and they made her do all their chores around the house. One day, the king's son announced that he was going to give a ball. He sent out invitations to everyone in the city. "We will go to the prince's ball," said the two ugly sisters. "We will wear our new ball gowns." Cinderella wanted to go too, but she did not have a gown to wear, so she had to stay home and clean the house. After everyone else had left for the ball, Cinderella felt sad. Suddenly, Cinderella's fairy godmother appeared. "Poor Cinderella," she said, "I will send you to the ball." "But I do not have a ball gown," said Cinderella. The fairy godmother tapped Cinderella with her wand. In an instant, Cinderella's old clothes turned into a wonderful ball gown. Then the fairy godmother tapped her old shoes, and they turned into beautiful slippers made of glass. "But how will I get there?" Cinderella asked. The fairy godmother tapped a pumpkin with her wand, and it turned into a beautiful carriage. She tapped some mice who were playing by the fireside, and they turned into fine horses to pull the carriage. "Go to the ball," said the fairy godmother. "But remember, you must be home by midnight. That's when the magic will wear off." Cinderella rode to the ball in her fine carriage. When she arrived at the prince's ball, everyone was amazed at how beautiful she looked. Even the ugly sisters did not recognize her. The prince was entranced by her beauty. He danced with her all evening. Cinderella was enjoying herself so much that she forgot the time. Suddenly, the town clock began to chime 12 midnight. Cinderella was horrified. She left the prince and rushed out of the ballroom. As she fled down the palace steps, one of her glass slippers fell off. On the last stroke of midnight, her gown turned into tattered rags. Her coach became a pumpkin, and her horses turned into mice. The prince ran after Cinderella. On the palace steps he found her glass slipper. "Whoever fits this shoe will be my bride," the prince declared. He traveled throughout the land to try to find Cinderella, and everywhere he went, people tried on the shoe, but no one could make it fit. Then one day the prince came to Cinderella's house. First the ugly sisters tried to squeeze a foot into the shoe. "Ouch," said one. "It hurts." said the other. What about you? The prince said to Cinderella. Don't worry about her, said the sisters. She's just a poor servant girl. Still, said the prince, let her try. Cinderella slipped her foot into the glass slipper. It fit perfectly. The prince was overjoyed, and he asked her to marry him. They were soon married and lived happily ever after. And we know this is a fairy tale because it had the magical element. The fairy godmother turned the pumpkin into the carriage. And we have good characters and evil characters. So we'll be doing an activity with this next.